Okay, so I'm actually going to do a part 2 for the video that I just made because I sometimes I get lost in the story and I lose my purpose of my video. What I'm here to share is I have been mapping our emotional responses, our core wounds, and also things that we get to do or the things that we can do to pull ourselves back into the moment. And so, like I said, I've broken it into 8 layers. And what these are, I see, are these 8 parts of us that we really want to fall in love with and become, allow them to show up. And it's like a dance. Like, it literally is like a dance. I went to my friend Tiffany once and I was like, my life literally feels like a motherfucking death metal song. Like, I was drawing out my life. Cancer number 1, you know, losing this. Cancer number 2, losing that. Like, fuck, it was cancer number 6. Like, all of this shit. And I was drawing it out on a page. And I was like, this is fucking crazy shit. And then I looked at it and I thought, well, that's interesting that that's my perspective. What if I looked at it differently and softened those lines? I then saw my life as a dance. Yeah, there's been a lot of crazy shit that's gone on, but there's been a lot of beautiful stuff happening because of the crazy shit. And when I started to see that, I see life differently now. And like I've been saying, I really truly believe that we choose what happens before we even come to this planet because our soul wants to experience certain things. Like I said before, am I right? I don't know. Doesn't matter. But that's the only way I can make peace with some of the shit that goes on in the world that doesn't make sense. Some people suffer so greatly. Some people have so many horrific things happen to them. And that's the only way, like I said, I can make it make sense and not be so involved in it, is to know that, well, that is what their soul wanted to experience, and that is what they're experiencing. So, anyway, what I'm seeing is, it's not just about, having this big backbone and telling people to fuck off. And, that's something that I needed to know was okay. Because, like I said, I'm the person who overgives and overforgives and dates so many fucking assholes. So many assholes. But it's because I see the good in them. I see the good in them because that is what my work is all about, is people changing. But people are not going to change unless they want to, and they put in a lot of work. I do this work every single fucking day. I do at least an hour of meditation. I go for walks. I go to the gym. I make videos. I write. I'm always, always reflecting on how I can be better, happier, more abundant, more loving. But if people are not committed to that, they're not going to change. And me looking for the good in these people is a waste of fucking time because I'm getting burned over and over and over again. And I'm finally seeing this. But like I said, it's all about balance and discernment. To know when to lean in, because yesterday I had 2 situations in my life. One person needed me to tell them off. I needed to tell this person to stop fucking bothering me, to leave me the fuck alone, to stop crossing boundaries, that I was motherfucking done. I had to do that with that person. There was another person in my life who was very confused at something that I said, very triggered by something that I said. He overreacted, and I leaned in, and I just sat with it. I just sat with it because he was confused by what I had said, but he wasn't being mean. He was being triggered. So again, it's discernment, right? It's not okay to just lose your shit on everybody, but it's also not okay to let everybody cross your boundaries and treat you like shit. And so that's why I'm seeing this all as balance and discernment, like I've said a million times already. But I'm looking at this flow that I'm creating, and what this is showing me is, I'll show it again. And I'm going to start making videos on this every single day because it's so important, I believe. But what this is showing us is what we experience when we're anchored in our hearts. When we're aligned with the moment, that is love, that is truth, that is peace, that is joy. We get to experience those things. But what happens is our thoughts that are coming from our beliefs, that are coming from our traumatic experiences, the stories that we told ourselves about the trauma that we experienced, that's where our beliefs come from. And our thoughts continue to pull us to prove things, to, it's literally trying to keep us safe, trying to help us get love, but it's doing it according to how we were treated when we were children. So it's pulling us to get what we got as kids. If we were abused, neglected, rejected, whatever it was, that is what we're looking for. And we are then going to be pushing ourselves away from love and connection because we didn't know how to get it as kids. And this just goes so far. There are so many ways that trauma traps us. But what I'm here to share is that is a thing. But what I've been working on is how do we get out of that? How do we interrupt those thought processes, those habit patterns? Because when we do those things, when we're in the moment with the truth, when we feel love, when we feel joy, when we feel peace, and when we feel a little bit of go fuck yourself, all of those things are what we are. That's the highest version of ourselves. And when we're merged with that, aligned with that, those stories that are not true are losing their power. Because those stories that are not true are telling us you're not good enough, you don't deserve to be loved, no one cares, you're a failure, you're worthless. Those things are not true. Those are things that we're telling ourselves for some reason. And if we do the opposite, which is love ourselves and connect to the truth, which we can always find the truth in the moment. And that is how we align with what works. And that, I believe that's what Jesus was calling heaven. We reach heaven on earth. This is our alignment. This is where we become divine. This is where we can look at situations and choose how to respond with love as opposed to react from fear. So we want to experience joy. We want to experience trust. We want to experience peace, confidence, freedom, wisdom, faith, and we want to really, really live. And in order to do that, we have to change what it is we're doing. We have to interrupt those thought processes when we recognize they're showing up. We have to interrupt those habit patterns when we see they're showing up. And when we do something different, we will get a different result. Remember, they say like the definition of crazy is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Well, now it's time to do something different and see a different result. That is what we're here to do. So that is what I'm going to be making videos about every day, is what I have found, what I've been practicing, and ways that I see we can actually get back into our hearts. And when I say back into our hearts, I mean that because when we were small children, that is where we lived. We were love, we were joy, we were peace, and now it's time to get back to that. So I'm also going to be doing sessions because that is what I do as an intuitive healer. But now I'm putting it back on you. I'm going to do the sessions, but I want you to do your healing, because then you're not going to need me. You're going to be able to heal yourself, and then at some point you're going to be able to turn around and heal others. And that is the purpose of my work. And that is why I'm so excited to start sharing it, because I want people